Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's 2:30, and we are here with our second edition of the DriveMind Group webinar session in the area of safety and security. Again, my name is Jim Bostic. I am Vice President of the DriveMind Group, and I do see we have a few folks with us here this afternoon. We want to welcome everybody and hope others will join as time goes on here. But again, we are coming to you from Canton, Ohio. That's where our corporate office is located. And today I'm very excited to share with you what I believe truly as a former school administrator is one of the most powerful and needed safety and security solutions, not only for our schools today, but I would say just about for any location, whether it be a church, a mall, a large corporation. I think today what we're going to share with you, you too will see the value, and I hope you get as excited about it as I know I do every time I have a chance to speak about it. In our last session, if you remember, just very quickly to go over some of the items that we did share and talk a little bit about in depth, we did have our session on door barricade devices. Very quickly, just bringing that out to show you. That was our bolo stick. And if you remember a little bit about the DriveMind Group, remember, we are a company that is completely made up of former school superintendents, school administrators, director of special programs, directors of marketing. Everybody in our organization comes from a school background. So when we bring to you a product, it's very important to us that we've done our due diligence to research that product, keeping in mind really two criteria that we use here at DriveMind. The first criteria is, if I were to go back in and lead a district, is this something I would want to put in my district today? If it is, then we ask our second question. If I want to put it in the district, is this something I would want in the district where my children attend? And if we meet those two criteria, we absolutely go a little bit deeper into our research. I can tell you that the bolo stick and the other products, especially our primary product for today, we've spent no less than 200 to 300 to 400 hours of research into the genre, if you will, of that particular product or that solution before we'll even bring it to market and share with our colleagues. We are very sensitive to A, obviously the product, but B, something that's very important in all walks of our industrial world, but especially I think in our school environment, and that is our operating budget. Our budgets are very sensitive. We have to be very strategic and look for opportunities to make sure that we're making those right decisions. So we hope that what we bring to you through the DriveMind Group are products that, one, that we have researched, and two, that if we're bringing it to you, it's something that we are strongly recommending, and obviously we'll give those reasons why in that regard. Personally, real quick, before we get back into the bolo stick, again, why I head up, not only am I vice president of the group, but head up school safety and security. And all of us here at the DriveMind Group have children. I happen to have the record here as I have 8 children. And with my 8 children, 7 of them are with us today. One of them is passed. But my wife and I were talking last month, and we have come to realize that of our 7 children, our oldest 2 boys were down at Ohio State. And I don't know if you remember last year at Ohio State, very sadly, they did have a terrorist attack. That was the time that the ISIS group were taking cars and bringing them up on curbs or jumping into crowds with their cars, and from there jumping out with some type of a weapon. And I don't know if you remember, but last year at Ohio State, that happened. And sadly, a gentleman jumped his car onto the curb into the walk space at Ohio State. After that, jumped out with a knife and was attacking students on campus. My 2 older boys, one was on his way to campus when that happened. Our product today, I'll share and come back to. I can tell you that Ohio State immediately deployed the Alertus System, that which we're going to talk about and share with you today. My other two younger boys, so I actually have my 7 children. It happened with my 2 oldest, and it happened at the other end with my 2 youngest. Last year in their middle school, very sadly, a young man brought a long rifle weapon to their middle school, somehow got on the bus, from the bus got into the school, was in an area of the school. He had, intentions to harm his fellow students, and the district and the school immediately went into a lockdown. And my boys talked to me about that situation. They talked to me how they barricaded their doors, how they hid, and so forth. So I was very saddened, and my wife also, to the fact, realizing that over half of our children have experienced either a school shooting event or an event related to terrorism. And that's just crazy, unbelievable. Well, that said, that's what led me very strongly in our organization to lead our school safety. Not that everyone here in our company is very passionate about it, but that is the department I head up. So as we go through and when we're finished, you can contact me, and we'll definitely talk further on anything that you might be interested in. Again, real quickly from our last presentation, our Bolo stick is our door barricade device, and it's still the device today that we definitely recommend to our schools and other locations. So again, if that's something of interest down the road that you're looking at door barricade, please keep Bolo stick or do a little research on the Bolo stick. I have plenty for you, but if not, please take a look. Our last episode, we also talked about our visitor management system, and I'll just show you that little guy there again. This is our school safe ID visitor management system. Again, many hours of research as we looked at Raptorware, we looked at Identikid, we looked at School Gate Guardian. So again, this is the device that we represent, that we believe in a school setting very much makes the most sense for our schools in the area of visitor management. Being a former principal, I can tell you what was our visitor management. Well, our visitor management was the fact that somebody would come into our school. Over time, of course, we finally did get in our buzz-in system, so they would announce themselves after a time. They would come in, introduce, fill out a clipboard. We might give them the sticker, maybe not. And from there, then that they would have access to the school building. That was our visitor management system. Much more secure, many more options, something to take a look at. So please, if you get time, you're looking under visitor management, school safe ID is that which we do represent. The lovely Rebecca Smetak is with me today, and she says, Jimmy, I'm never getting in front of the camera. Sometime I'm going to flip that camera around so you can see Rebecca. But she's here, and she is the one that organizes these events for us, and I'm so grateful to her for what she does. And I'll tell you what I'd like her to do, and she said she can do this for us. The last thing I want to share with you before we get into our main product today, I want to share with you what we call our protective shield solution. So Rebecca's going to find our flyer, and she's going to bring it up to your screen. Can I see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're seeing on your screen what we refer to as our protective shield solution. Now, as you can see in the red, those are more of our overarching solutions or overarching themes that we believe are critical areas to be sure that you are looking into the areas of school safety and security. We have to remember that school safety and security is not a one solution fix all. It's a layered approach. It's something that has multiple facets to make sure that those areas that could be or may be detected as a opening or a, I want to say, weakness in a district that someone could take advantage of. But here you can see our visitor management system. There's our school safely talked about, the BOLO stick. You can see that off to the right, our classroom barricade. In one of our future episodes, we are going to talk a little bit more about our panic defense system called threat extinguisher, but I will reference that today. But I'll tell you what, if you take a look at that shield, and what you can see at the very top is what we call our mass emergency notification system. And under that, you see the word Alertus. And I will tell everyone that's on today, and I say this in my presentations anytime that I talk about Alertus, I've been out of district and building administration probably 2.5 years. I've thought at times of going back. I miss it. I miss the kids. I miss the teachers. I miss the interaction. But I will tell everybody and anyone that if I were ever to go back into a district, the very first purchase order I would write would be for the Alertus system. And I hope that after we get finished with our little bit of talk and discussion today, that you'll agree with me. Alertus is extremely powerful. Alertus, there are not many, you'll find again, as we did our research, there are not many competitors in the area of mass emergency notification. But I will tell you that Alertus, in our view, in our opinion, does absolutely everything your district would need. One piece of education that I'm going through right now with many of our districts as we talk about emergency notification systems, and we'll say, to districts, we'll kind of explain what an emergency notification system does. And many times a district leader will say, well, you know what, I got that. We have that, we're good to go. I said, okay, awesome. I mean, that's what we need. Can you tell me a little bit about what it does, or what's it called? And they might say, well, we've got this product called Blackboard Connect, and it can send out emails, and it can send out texts, and then it can make phone calls. I'm like, that's awesome. Or they might say, you know what, we have a product called One Call Now. And again, I'm like, that's great. And it does those same 3 features. It'll, make a phone call, it'll send a text to all the students' parents and teachers, and it'll shoot out an email. And that's a good thing. Or, and there's other products similar to that. And then after, they share this, I ask a couple questions. I say to them, well, first of all, if God forbid something happens in your district, what do you do if the teacher may not have their phone with them? And they think a moment, well, teachers always have their phone. Okay, I hope so. I mean, because they're going to need it to get that notification. Or I might say to them, well, if they don't have their phone and maybe they're at their desk, they've got their laptop open, maybe, they've got desktops open, maybe they're using one of the kids' Chromebooks, I don't know, they're using a device that has email, but what if they're not? And I would say the same thing. I said, well, again, this device, this emergency system you're using basically says, you're telling me it does email, it does text, and it makes a phone call, and that's great, but what if the teacher who is in charge of the students, and I'm betting that, and I know that the rules on cell phones for students has loosened up a bit, but what if they're not available? And then I try to tell folks, and what we've done here at DriveMind is we look at systems like One Call, Blackboard Connect, Regroup, Parent Square, these type of systems. We actually refer to them as operational mass notification. And as part of their sales presentation, many of these products will tell you that they are a safety notification, or that's one of their big features. And I won't disagree. I mean, they do have the ability to notify us in a emergency situation. But I'll tell you this, it's not Alertus. And in our heart, even though that emergency notification, God forbid something were to occur, can be notified through those systems, we do not refer to those systems as mass emergency notification systems. And let me quickly share and show you why. I'm going to ask Rebecca to put up a graphic of the appearance or what is really done and can be done with the Alertus system. So if you will, Rebecca, could you put up that graphic on the solution overview?
Bear with me.
Now, Rebecca is sharing with you on your screen what Alertus refers to as their solution overview. And they really have two outstanding graphics. This is their full campus graphic. And what I want to say about Alertus and why we, for many reasons, love Alertus so well is that when you look to bring Alertus to your location, and again, it can be K-12 environment, it can be a college environment, it can be your church, synagogue, it can be in a business, corporate setting. When you bring Alertus to your institution, everything that is on your institution or on your district's network can and will be attached to the Alertus server for notification. What does that mean? Well, it means that when you agree and you look at an Alertus license, Alertus will design for your district a server. That server can be a hard box. It can be virtual. They'll work with your IT team on what makes the most sense for your district. And they'll spin that server up for your district. When that server is ready to go, they'll then work with your IT team. And your IT team will then work to attach, if you will, any and all devices on your network, i.e. your laptops, your desktop, if you're still using desktop systems, your visual signage. So if you have TVs maybe that are connected to the network throughout the school that you use, those can be attached to the system. You can have your PA system attached. If you have voice over IP phones, you can have your VoIP systems attached. So anything and everything that is attached to that district network can be attached to that Alertus server. So this is one thing and one reason why we really respect and love the Alertus organization. You know, what you're looking at on that screen, you're looking at a campus solution. And I can tell you as you're looking around, you're looking at some other devices. You see a beacon and you see some big speakers and, you can see some signage off to the right-hand side. And many times what you get with an organization when they come in, right away they want to say, well, yeah, we can do this, but you know what? You're going to want to have, all these beacons to go with it. And we're going to try to get you and sell you this big speaker system and so forth. And I will tell you why we love, and as a former administrator, why I love Alertus so much, is that when they come to your district, they're not looking for this upsell, if you will. They're not looking at what all these different pieces, parts they can put in. What they do is they come in and they want to first and foremost utilize any and everything you currently already have in the district. They want to make sure that your laptops, that when God forbid that emergency happens, that activation happens to your laptop. That on the phones, that if, that it has an app device, that the phones, that there'll be that indication, and that, you can have, if you do have that phone availability, that if you have, again, through the PA system, if you have the TVs, if you have the voice over IPs, and here's the big one that we like. For students, we're all into this, the big mantra now in our schools is one-to-one technology, right? All the districts went out the last few years back. They really built up their infrastructure. What happened next? Next, we all went out. Everybody got a load of Chromebooks. Every kid's got their own Chromebooks. We started at the elementaries, maybe the middle. Now all of our kids have Chromebooks. What is awesome about Alertus is when that button is pushed, the Chromebooks are also, the students immediately get that notification. And yes, you can be very, sensitive to those grade levels and to where that notification should go and be sent. So, that was not that the other devices, not that the alert beacons, not that the large outside strobes, not that the horns and that, you may need those. Well, how would you know? Well, Alertus has probably one of the most unique individuals that I've ever met in my life. He's from he's a retired United States Air Force commander. And his job at the Air Force was to go around to our bases, and he actually worked to design emergency notification systems for our military bases. Incredibly wise, intuitive. So Alertus has, he works with Alertus, and it's what they call their professional service option, to where this gentleman, if you would want, can come out to your district prior to bringing in Alertus system or after, and kind of doing a complete walkthrough, every building, every area, and look at what you have. And then he might make recommendations of what he thinks, you may need. Do we have to go there? No, but it's there for you. That way, and again, why we love the system so much is its ability to be scalable. I can start with my basic license, get everything in my district attached. Maybe I have this report, this professional report, or maybe once I get the system in and we test the system, what happened, what we do then is we can walk through and do what we call a gap analysis. So where we can see where are there holes, where are there places that maybe we need, to put in an alert beacon. Maybe we need to put in a speaker system. I can tell you that right now in Ohio, we are working with many of our schools from Stark County. Many of our Stark County schools have Alertus being put into their school districts. I can tell you they're all kind of in a little bit different places than each other. All of them did not put in the identical solution in every district. We have one district that they went and they purchased many of the pieces, parts, if you will. They put in many beacons, they put in panic buttons, they put in outside strobes. We've had other districts that just have our basic license and are using those assets in the district, and as their budget or they find grants, then they have said, that we'll look to enhance at that point. Many of our districts right now, actually we have about two or three that are looking to put in what I call the button battery, the panic button battery, to where they're going to put 3 or 4 panic buttons in, so that whenever a specific button, which is color coded and has specific writing for that alert message, will be, can be activated just by, pushing the panic button that I believe they're going to put in their office areas. So I guess what I'm saying with that is, yes, there are the other pieces that you saw from our graphic. It's not the main focus. The main focus is getting that license into the district, using those assets that are currently available to your district. And then as time goes, we find where are those gaps, where are those areas in the district, in your school, in your building that you might want to look at for some additional emergency support. Very much excitingly, with Alertus also works with the NOAA weather system. i.e. it immediately attaches so that, if there's a tornado, goodness forbid, maybe in our coastal areas with hurricanes and such, you can attach the Alertus system so that if one of the weather alerts goes, it will automatically set off the system in the district, in the school, so that that type of emergency is occurring. Okay. Integration. We talked about the operational notification systems, one called Blackboard Connect, Regroup. I will tell you this, Alertus will work with and open and attach with just about any solution that makes sense to have it attached with in the district. I can tell you that when my boys, when that happened at Ohio State, that button was pushed. There was a call in to the emergency center. They pushed the button, if you will, and within, I believe it was like 18 to 20 seconds, I know that my two boys received text from the university that there was a situation, and everything in anything that was connected within the university had verbal and digital signage being displayed for the students. We have one of our districts in the northwest area of Ohio. It's called the North Baltimore School District, a relatively small district, but they have had the system. They just have the Alertus system in, and I will tell you, they have the basic ENS, or what they call their enhanced notification system. They have the base system, no additional bells and whistles. They have everything from the district assets attached. So the superintendent had a group from the Wood County Emergency Services, many 10, 12, I think, different individuals. They were out in the parking lot, and the superintendent, his name's Ryan Delaney, and I know that he would be willing to share quite his story with you, but he's permitted me to share his story. So they were out in the parking lot, and he said to the dignitaries that were with him, he says, you know what, we're going to do an evacuation drill. I want you to see what we can do here. I want you to see our new system. So Ryan has his phone, and he finds the Alertus activation app, which is on his phone. And quickly, I'll show you, I don't know if you can see, but on our phone there, maybe Rebecca can pull that up a little bit, the red app that says Alertus. So the superintendent, and then one gentleman says, well, why are we standing in the parking lot? And he says, well, just watch. So Ryan hits the button, pulls up the message that he wants to go off, hits the button, and and they have a high school, middle school combination, and the entire high school, middle school was emptied in under 28 seconds. Every device in the school was set off through the Alertus system. All computers, Chromebooks the students were using, anything that was attached to the network sent the message, and everybody cleared the building. From there, they went to the elementary school. They did the same procedure, though this time it was not an evacuation, it was a lockdown. He said the building was locked down in under 15 seconds. The Wood County officials looked at him and said, what did you just do? And Ryan shared the Alertus story. Some of our partners, that with many of our partners, and I know Rebecca's tapping her watch right now because I guess we only have so much time here, but I want to share you that how wonderful these folks are to work with. The school safe ID system that you saw earlier, our visitor management system, Alertus has worked with our school safe ID organization. They now have the ability, because there is an emergency notification side to this, but they have the ability to where they'll be able to, in this, click in the emergency notification side to this, Alertus, which will then activate the Alertus system through the school safe ID system. As I shared with you, if Rebecca will swing that around, in our next episode, we are going to talk to you a little bit about our threat extinguisher product. it was not, I don't know, back waiting 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks, maybe 3, after our Alertus friends talked to and saw what our threat extinguisher device does. Now, if you were to happen to have a threat extinguisher device in your school and you also have Alertus, when this canister is pulled, the Alertus system in the district will go off. So I guess what I'm saying is, you know, they're willing to work with, they understand the need for the layered approach. They understand that districts have many different pieces throughout their district. And it's very important to them that all the pieces work and talk and communicate together. Well, that said, I know we're about out of time, and we do have a few folks. I don't know if anyone has, any specific questions for us. You know, I hope you don't feel that this was a sales call, if you will. This, there are professionals, and I'll tell you what, the folks at Alertus are just absolutely outstanding. I wanted to talk to you today as a former school administrator. I want to talk to you today as a parent of 8 children. I want to tell you today that there is a device or a system, an emergency notification system, that if I walk back into a school district as superintendent next year, is the first thing that I would install. If I was the pastor of a church, I would look to install. So if it's something that makes sense, if it makes sense that you want to know a little bit more about it, please reach out. Again, I'm looking at some of the names that are up, and I do see that my good friend Eric Murphy is with us. Eric is the state, not the state, he is the national representative for our educational, both higher ed and our PK to 12 area. And he's with us today. It means a lot to me. So if there's any questions you might have, all you have to do is let us know. Please reach out to us. DriveMindGroup.com is the website. You can please take a look at the Alertus website. If you talk to anybody there from Alertus, please let them know that you did see us on the DriveMind Group webinar. And we're going to come back to you again next month. And again, next month, we will again briefly share a little bit about our other devices that we've shared. We're going to talk a little more in depth about our threat extinguisher device. We have some other exciting products that we're looking at. And as those develop and come around, we're to get back. So that said, Rebecca, anything else you can think of for the good of the order and everybody that's on for us today?
Does anyone have any questions?
Right. Well, if there's no questions, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming online, and please reach out. Again, it's been an honor to work and to share with you today, and God bless.
Our first that left to be 400. I mean, for 4 days.